Welcome to my channel. My name is London and today is a paranormal story. So I'm just gonna do my makeup while I tell this story because this story is kind of weird and I did have some inspiration, yada yada, but I have a full face of makeup to do, so we're gonna get right into it. I already primed my skin, by the way, using the Nimya stuff. So I'll list everything that I use down below, but I swear, ever since I had the idea to do this video, I feel like everything has just been going wrong today, and I feel like it's the universe telling me to like not tell the story. And honestly, I forget this even happened because it was just so weird. It's such a weird story. Okay, so let's rewind. So I just finished watching Shane Dawson's series, and I don't want to spoil anything in case you guys are watching it. Actually, if you guys are watching it, then just skip ahead. So in his little thing, he goes to the third bridge. I love watching like haunting, abandoned, exploration type of videos. I actually watch that more than makeup videos on YouTube. I was watching his video and there were some weird things that were happening with the pictures, where they took a picture and they saw these orbs and then don't claim the negative energy kind of a thing. And then they looked at the pictures and the orbs were gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, how weird. I've never heard of that happening to anyone else but me. Kind of. Not exactly, but kind of a weird. And it's even creepier. I'm even getting goosebumps just thinking about how weird this story is, because I never really got over what happened. There is absolutely no explanation to what happened, and altogether it's just a super strange occurrence that only a select few people in my circle have heard about and are kind of involved, and not one person that knows about the story that is kind of involved can give an explanation. It's just one of those weird things. And watching Shane Dawson's series, like haunting series, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe other people have this story, or I don't know. But because it's October, I was like, well, I need to get ready anyways, so I might as well just sit here and tell this story. And I thought about going live, but oh well. So let's take it back to May of 2018. And as you guys know, I live in Texas. And so one Friday, me and my boyfriend just randomly were like, let's go to San Antonio. I don't know, we just took a very spontaneous trip, and we've taken spontaneous trips before to other places, but we literally just packed up a bag and just left. Where did my eyeshadow primer go? We are literally just like spontaneously driving to San Antonio, and it's just a little quick weekend trip. We've never been together. We thought it was nice. So the whole way there, we're just kind of like making up like random things that we want to do while we're there, because it was super spontaneous. The first day we were there was pretty basic, to say the least. Doing all the basic touristy stuff of, you know, going to the river walk and having dinner on the river walk and just kind of walking around. And then the next day, we are there. We decide to do some other little fun activities, and we're like Googling stuff because, you know, it's last second, we didn't plan anything, and we saw like a haunted tour, and we're like, okay, we can go see the Alamo, and then we'll go to this haunted tour at night, yada yada. That's what we'll do. We'll go out to dinner, and then do the little haunted tour. That'll be so fun. My blush is darker on one side than it is on the other. So what do? You gotta make the other side darker. And if you guys don't know, San Antonio is one of the most haunted cities in Texas. And we both are kind of like adrenaline junkies. We both like kind of paranormal. We like haunted houses, roller coasters. We've been skydiving, so we were like, oh yeah, that'll be perfect to do this like cool little haunted tour of San Antonio. We get like all of the history, whatever. So we get there and there's, you know, your normal like maybe 15 to 25 people were waiting on this tour. And they gave us all these little EMF meters, and you know, we're walking around to the first location. It was like a walk around ordeal of walking around different parts over by the Alamo, of like different stories of like, oh, this person got murdered in this hotel and yada yada, and everyone's like EMF meters go off at the same time and everyone's like freaking out, yada yada. But you know, I've been watching my ghost paranormal stuff, so I know about the EMF meters. Okay, this is when the story starts to turn here. So we are, you know, just walking around playing with the EMF meters and, you know, having like our little adrenaline of stuff, and nothing really happened during this little tour. And so we walked to the car and we're starting to drive back towards the hotel, and out of nowhere we both get this overwhelming urge to go off of the path that we were going to the hotel. The hotel was towards the right, and we both really wanted to go to the left. I am getting goosebumps, y'all. It's so weird. I can't believe this happened to me. So we have this overwhelming urge to go to the left instead of the right where the hotel was, and we randomly stop at this, like, we're in the middle of a neighborhood. Like, it's just a random neighborhood before we got onto the highway. I could not show you where we were at all. I have no idea. It was just like some kind of, like, something is like drawing me to this place and my boyfriend at the same time. Just the strangest experience that you could possibly imagine, of something just like drawing you to a place. I can't even explain it. It's just so strange. And so we get to this like random old house in the middle of this neighborhood. Don't know a thing about it at all. Don't know whose house this is. Don't know anything about it. Wasn't on the tour. Nothing. But we both get the urge, and we didn't stop. We kind of just slowed down almost to a stop where, you know, if you have your car and drive and it's just kind of going like 5 miles an hour, that's how we were going about. And for some reason, we just decided to take out both of our phones and just snap a couple pictures of this random house. And then we went back to the hotel, and we hardly said anything to each other on the way to the hotel. And I also want to tell you guys that this is pretty late at night. Like, it was dark outside when we decided to pull off to just look at this random house. P.S. This glitter is gorgeous. So I don't know what part of this story creeps me out the most. You guys should let me know what creeped you out the most, because it just gets so weird from here. So we've been in the hotel room for a while, just kind of winding down, relaxing, getting ready for bed. for the next day. We're kind of packing. I think this is Sunday where we're getting ready to go home. But I remember my boyfriend's mom called and was asking about our day. And at this point, we don't remember anything about stopping at that house. Like, that part of our memory was just gone for the both of us. It was so strange. I really never had anything like that happen where it's not only happened to me, but with both people, because I mean, if you guys are familiar with dyslexia and hearing loss, you do get some short-term memory loss because your brain is trying to process what's happening in the moment, that a lot of the times it'll just kind of scrap some things that's like, oh, that's not so important. Just a thing that happens. So we're like telling her about how it went, and we're like, oh yeah, we got some pictures. And then we're like, oh yeah, like let's go through each other's pictures because like I want some pictures, send me some, you want some pictures, send me some. So we're in the middle of doing that, and the pictures of the house came up, and we're like, oh my gosh, like we completely forgot about this, how weird. And so we start looking at these pictures, and they are disturbing. The most disturbing things I have ever seen in my life. Like that picture, there's only one. Look, I'm getting goosebumps again, y'all. Oh man. So there was about 4 pictures, and I'm starting to get goosebumps on my face because this story is so weird. So, let me do my brows, and then I can take a deep breath and just quit weirding out about this. Yeah, there's like 4 pictures, and they're all pretty normal pictures, except for one of them. So out of the 4 pictures, 2 of them were just like pictures of this house. And the other 2, one of them was a bit blurry, kind of like if you were moving while taking pictures, but we weren't moving fast at all, so I don't really know what happened with that picture, but it just looked blurry in that sense. But the one picture was literally like the haunted mansion in a picture. Like, you know where all the ghosts are like moving around at the haunted mansion in the movie and at the ride? That was in the picture. It was the most bizarre freaking thing. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. What the heck? We're both like pointing out different things that we see in the picture because it's just like a hot mess of just disturbing images of people and weird 666 and like orbs. It was freaky, okay? Like, you guys, if you don't believe me, it's fine, but this isn't even the weirdest part. This is not even the weirdest part. We haven't got to the weirdest part yet. So we're like tripping out on the phone with his mom, and we're like, oh my gosh, like what the heck is this? And we end up sending it to his mom, and she's like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So me being me, we send it to each other so that we both have it, and I send it to one of my good friends because I know she is really into like paranormal and stuff. And so I sent it to her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you'd never believe this picture. Like, this is so weird. So I sent her all the pictures, and I'm like, look at this. Like, this one's normal. This one is very, very far from normal. I'm gonna do some eyeliner real fast. All right, I took a second to get some composure. So we hang up the phone with his mom, say goodnight, and I instantly go to call my friend, and we're both like doing a whole girly thing, like, oh my gosh, wow, freaking out on the phone with each other. My boyfriend is just sitting there and is like, kind of like, what in the heck is, like, what? And I'm gonna start to describe what was in this picture. So there is gonna be a warning, so if you get triggered by hanging or demonic or anything like that, like, skip ahead from this part. But there was so much going on in this picture, and we're all like picking it apart of what we see. So this house was like a 2-story house. I'll try to find a picture of what it kind of looked like. I could not take you to that house for the life of me. We were literally drawn to that place, and we completely forgot that we even did it. And we've tried to go back and look at where we were and where we could have driven off to, but we were both like kind of in like a trance. It was the weirdest thing. We really don't remember a lot other than getting up to the house, taking pictures, and somehow getting our way back to the highway. And that's really all that we both really remember. So we're going through this picture, and I see I can literally see the picture in my head. It is so freaky. So I see a person literally just hanging from the 2nd-story balcony, and it is a perfect silhouette of a man just hanging his head, arms down, like just hanging, like hanging there in the middle of the house. So that's the first thing. The second thing I see, I can't really describe, but it definitely looked demonic, and I wish I could describe it better, but it just looked like something out of like The Conjuring or something. It was just so weird looking. And then, you know how when you take pictures while moving, lights kind of get blurry, or like, I'll try and show you guys pictures to help better explain what I'm talking about, but like, you know how pictures get kind of blurry? So I tried to dismiss this part of the picture, but there was a bunch of like light anomalies that just said 666 all over the place. And I don't recall in any of the other pictures there was no light street lamps or anything like that. The house was pretty much in the dark. Oh, my eyelashes are giving me some trouble today. All right, so there's the light anomalies, there's that guy hanging, there's a weird like demonic looking thing in the front yard, and then there's like orbs all over this picture. And the next thing that my boyfriend starts to see is there is a person that looks like they're peeking, like standing half in the front door. And so we're just going all back and forth talking about like what you see, and it's all very strange, all very disturbing, but it gets even weirder than that. So the picture's not weird. Getting drawn to this random house, not the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing is to come. So we go to sleep that night, and yet again we keep forgetting about all of this stuff. It is so bizarre. So I didn't remember until we drove all the way back home, and my friend messaged me about the picture, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I completely forgot about it, and I go and I send it to my mom, because me and my mom have both had some weird experiences, and I share everything with my mom. So I was like, Mom, you gotta take a look at this. Look at what we saw. We got it, we made it home, by the way, but look at this. So my mom's initial reaction is, oh my gosh, you need to put crosses up tonight. You gotta say a prayer before you go to sleep. Like, that's really bad. And I'm like, I know, is that not insane or what? Like, is this not the craziest thing that you've ever seen in your life? So we do that for like a whole week, crosses, you know. And during that whole week, everything in this apartment that we were living in was way off. I never felt uncomfortable. We lived in that apartment for almost 2 years, and we moved out. So this is May of 2018. We moved out in February of 19 into this place. And that whole time I never felt uncomfortable. I never felt uneasy. I mean, I didn't really like being alone, but it was like one of those things. Nothing that made me feel unwanted. So there was a time that I distinctly remember where I came home, and this is before we had any dogs at the apartment. I have 3 dogs now, if you're curious, but this is before any of that. I feel like this outer corner of my lash is like not, oh, it is. It's lifting up in the center. I'm just gonna take it off and redo it. So I get home from work and my boyfriend is not home yet. And I have like a weird, just like feeling of not being able to breathe, kind of anxiety. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get into the apartment. Like, something's weird, something's off. I'm like, maybe I have like some kind of feeling of like, I don't know what it was. And my first instinct was to try and like get in the house, because normally when I have those feelings, it's like danger on the outside, you know. So I'm like, get inside. And the way our apartment was laid out, the like front door was like kind of like squared, and then there's the front door, and then there was a closet right here, and it was kind of like squared, and then it opened up into the kitchen and the living room. And I get in the apartment and I freeze. I feel so unwanted, sick to my stomach in this apartment, and I'm getting goosebumps yet again. And I didn't know what to do because my boyfriend was on the way home, so it wasn't dire, but I was alone and feeling like there's someone in here that doesn't want me here, and I feel very uncomfortable. So I'm trying to call my boyfriend, and then he doesn't answer. So I call my friend that I sent those pictures to, and I'm telling her about how I feel, and she's like, just go back down to your car and I'll just stay on the phone with you until your boyfriend gets home. And so that's what we do. And then we get back in the apartment and I don't feel that way anymore. And I'm like, okay. So after that experience, we kind of just went about our normal life and didn't really talk about it, didn't really bring anything up. And then one day I got reminded about these pictures, and I go to look in my phone for these pictures, and they are gone. All the pictures from San Antonio are there, but the pictures of the house are gone. And if you guys know me, I don't delete anything. The only thing I delete are my exes, but like I have text messages from like when I was 18. I have pictures. Like, I haven't deleted anything since I was 18 years old and I got my first iPhone. I haven't deleted anything. I checked my iCloud. I checked my Dropbox. There was nothing. Then I remembered that I texted it to my boyfriend, to my friend, to my mom, to his mom. 4 people. All of those text messages of the pictures are gone. They are gone out of my phone. What in the heck? I text my boyfriend and I'm like, babe, do you have these pictures? And he's like, no. And I'm like, that's really weird. And so I asked my mom. I call my mom and I'm like, hey, can you find the text where I sent you those pictures? And she's like, no, they're not there. And I'm like, damn. So then I call my friend and she's like, no, the pictures are gone. And literally to this day, I cannot explain to you how my mom, his mom, me, and my friend, all four of us, have shared these photos of this house, and all of us have it mysteriously disappear from our phones. How freaking weird is that? I'm getting goosebumps on my face. It's so weird. It's so weird. I will never live this down. I'm gonna be like 80 years old and like, where did this picture go? So I have one picture to prove that this was an actual thing. So I have a picture. The only picture that doesn't really show anything, I'll show you guys a picture, but so I took a picture from my phone of my boyfriend's phone and a piece of paper where we were trying to draw out what we were seeing, and the flash was on, so the phone reflects, but you can kind of see, and I'll zoom it in, you can kind of see the demonic presence that was in the picture. It kind of didn't catch with the flash, and that is the only picture that I have with this story that is like, what the heck? Like, what are the odds? Like, there's no way someone could have deleted them. Like, out of everything that I have, like, I didn't lose my storage. I don't delete my text messages. I have the text of us talking about it, but the images are not there in my phone, or my boyfriend's phone, or my friend's phone, or both of our mom's phones. How do you explain that? It's so weird. Yes, that is one of my paranormal experiences, and one of the more creepy, unexplainable ones. And Shane Dawson definitely reminded me of the experience, because what are the odds that these orbs would completely disappear from the Polaroid pictures? And what are the odds that these photos that I've taken in San Antonio completely disappeared from 4 separate people's phones? What in the heck? So yeah, let me know if you've ever heard of anything like that. And yeah, this was a long story, but happy Halloween, y'all.